well, just away to my left hand side, we've got Albury Park. And Steve and Cynthia, they've walked on ahead because what we want to get access to is this, the old parish church. So I've got to go through this gate. Ooh. I've got some information which I'm going to read out to you, which is gradually disappearing with it all getting wet. The site of the original village of Albury lies a mile to the east of the present village. The process of the move occurred sporadically from about 1780 onwards. It appears to have started with Captain Finch, later an admiral, who had bought the mansion from his brother, the 4th Earl of Alresford. He wanted to develop the park around his house and harassed the villagers that many of them moved to the neighbouring hamlet of Weston Street. The Saxon church, usually called the Old Church, dates back to pre-1066 and is recorded in the Domesday Book. It was built on it was the parish church until Henry Drummond built the present church in 1841. The old church was closed and left to decay until 1921, when the place was packed for the first service held there, for 80 years. Nowadays there is a midsummer service each year and a candlelit carol service at Christmas. But as you can see, this is all part of the park that we're walking through, and as you may have seen, there are sheep roaming free in the park. So we're just heading up this way, along this driveway, underneath these trees, and I don't know what these are, to be honest, no idea. I don't think they're beech, could be alder, I'm not sure, but there's a long line of them all the way along. But unfortunately it's raining now, which is such a shame, and of course I'm worried about the equipment getting wet. The GoPros themselves are waterproof, which is what I'm using, but the rest of the equipment isn't, so I'm going to have to be very careful. But just here to my right hand side we've got some huge sweet chestnut trees, as is this one here in front of us, where the trunk is actually twisted, and that's lovely. Oh, we're getting the shucks coming down out of the trees, which are actually empty. So we've got a fork in the road here. One goes to Albury Park Mansion, and the one to the left, the old church, the bothy, old laundry, Farm Hill Cottage and Grange Cottage. And there are people living in some of the other properties up here which are private. So let's just press on towards these lovely beech trees with the beautiful green and copper coloured leaves, or brown leaves. Well, we've now come up to the church, and it's St Peter and St Paul of Albury. But it's only, as I said just now, only used for weddings and for the Christmas carols. And it says there, this ancient church is maintained by the Church's Conservation Trust with the monies provided by Parliament. by the Church of England and by the gifts of the public. Though no longer required for regular worship, it remains consecrated to the service of God. Now there's a sign over there that actually says the church is open. And there's a sign there that says, to encourage wildflowers, this churchyard is mown only occasionally. So let me have a wander around the church, and let me show you what's here. Leaded light windows on the west end, and we've got round windows at the top. It's built of stone. We've got the buttresses on the corners and on the back, but on the back it's where the two separate aisles are. One would be the south aisle, one would be the north aisle. But up through the top there you can see the tower, which is wood shingle with a parapet that runs round the top. There's another huge buttress here on the corner. The stone mullions around the windows are very worn in places, as you can see. The door is protected there. I'm actually just going to back away from the church so that I can get in as much as I can. So I'm on the south side of the church now, and a huge stained glass window there. And you've got, coming out left and right, a pipe which is a drainage pipe for the parapet that runs round the top. Continue walking round. As you can see, there's buttresses all the way around this church. It's tiled roof, and the whole tower is built of stone. You've got a buttress right in the corner there. Still going to try and back away to bring in as my ground's very uneven. But we're just going round to the east end of the church. Got all these different tombs and graves. We've got yew trees, we've got sweet chestnut trees that surround the church. Unfortunately, I can't get any further away from the church than I am now, but I'm coming up to the north side of the tower, and I'm at the base of the tower, and I'm just going to tilt the camera up to the top. Again, we've got outlets there, pipe outlets for the water coming off the top of the tower. And we've got a porchway here into the church, and it's been fascinating recently where we've seen so many different ornate gable boards on the porches, and we've got some areas here that have been rendered in, obviously to protect it, but hopefully in a minute or two we'll be able to get inside, because it does say the church is open. So I've done a complete circuit of the church now, and just here in the corner you've got the usual yew tree there. We're outside the north porchway and we're just about to head in. Steve's going to kindly open the door for me. I'll just show you the inside of this porch. It's very similar to a porch we looked at recently, where all the tiles have got wood pegs, but very, very old timbers again. Lovely, lovely old porch. So we're actually going into the church now. Got to sanitise our hands, which is going to be a bit difficult when you're holding a microphone and a GoPro. So I've done one hand. Let me just spin round, do the other hand. So let's just take a wander around here. I'm now inside the tower and I'm going to tilt the camera up and hopefully you're going to be able to see that. I think that is a bell just up in the top of the tower. And I'm just going to turn around and see if I can make it out, if it is a bell or not. But I'm looking, yes it is, there's a single bell. There, but you've got a ladder going up there. But you can see the stonework at the end of this east end. You've got a very simple altar here. But you can tell that the roof in the past has been redone because they're all fairly new windows, timbers. But just here there is a series of photographs of St Peter's and St Paul, Albury, where it's the re-roofing of the dome, porch and Drummond Chapel of spring 1994. But you can see that the walls are rendered and whitewashed. We've got a huge archway just here, just in front of me, and one just there. Very simple, plain leaded light windows. And just in front of me is a Roman font drum bass just there. And we've got this huge old chest just in front of us with some carvings on which I can't make out. But this is, as I said earlier, this is a Saxon church. And we've got this central point here. I'm going to try and get my camera in. And these are the leaded light windows, or the beautiful windows I described earlier on. But stunning up in the roofway, up in the roof space. The stained glass windows are beautiful, absolutely stunning this is. I can't get inside here, which is a shame, because up there it's almost like you've got like a bird. It's almost like the Germans used to have on their emblems in the Second World War. But I will ask Steve and Cynthia to see if they can get in there or through this railings to see if they can get some photographs. But you can see where the old timbers have come through up there. And you've got a very old roof, timbers up in the top of this south aisle, and likewise with the north aisle. Absolutely lovely. Very plain, very simple, but absolutely lovely. Huge door, absolutely huge oak door there. Let me just see if I can get a picture of the inside of the door and how the old lock is on there. It's a huge lock on there. I'm just going to push the door to, and it is a very heavy door. So we can see a picture of that from inside as well as outside. Absolutely amazing. And we've got the coat of arms up there, hanging on the wall. I'd finished filming, but then turned and spotted this above the south aisle doorway, and we've got this wall art, and one part of it is an old galley, and there's looks like a depicting a building, and then a man standing there with looks like a vase in one hand and a sceptre in the other. But I hadn't noticed that at all just now. But incredible. As Steve said just now, he read that this church has seen the Black Death, World Wars, and now of course we're in the midst of still got the pandemic of COVID in 2020. You think you're finished when you're doing these things, but Cynthia and Steve have just pointed out to me, just there was an image niche of around about 1300. But there's a plaque on the wall, William Uhtred, 1573 to 1660, buried in the ruined chancel, mathematician tutor to Christopher Wren and rector of Albury for 50 years, 1610 to 1660.